And what's happening in Sri Lanka? There is a reason I asked that question. On Monday, an Indian warship docked in Sri Lanka. This is the guided missile destroyer INS Mumbai. It docked in Colombo. The Indian warship is on a 3-day visit to Sri Lanka. And this is the first time INS Mumbai has docked in Sri Lanka. But guess what? What else? Docked in Sri Lanka on the same day. A Chinese naval fleet, not a warship, but an entire fleet. This includes amphibious dock landing ships, Wuzishan, Kilinshan, and a guided missile destroyer named Hefei. What are they doing in Sri Lanka? China is calling it a technical visit. The Chinese PLA Navy says the ships were conducting joint exercises with Tanzania and Mozambique. And now they have docked in Sri Lanka for resupply. But what really explains the timing of the visit? During the time that the Chinese fleet will be docked in Sri Lanka, the crew of INS Mumbai will be conducting joint activities with the Sri Lankan Navy. This includes sporting events, yoga session, also a beach cleanup. Personnel from the Sri Lankan Navy paid a visit to INS Mumbai upon arrival. The former were given a briefing on operational practices. And what's more, INS Mumbai is also delivering essential spare parts for the Dornier maritime patrol aircraft that was inducted into the Sri Lankan Air Force 2 years ago. Now, just tell me one thing. Is it just a coincidence that a Chinese fleet has shown up around the same time when all of this is happening in Sri Lanka? China does not like the sound of this question. The Chinese mouthpiece Global Times, in fact, is calling the scrutiny over the timing a quote-unquote extension of the China threat theory. I'm reading from the article. The Global Times quotes an observer from China's government-funded Tsinghua University as saying, and I'm quoting here, given the relatively frequent military interactions between India and Sri Lanka, I think the simultaneous docking of Chinese and Indian warships in Sri Lanka is a coincidence, quote unquote. Both the Indian warship and the Chinese warships will be holding separate, and I repeat, separate passage exercises with Sri Lankan warships. The date of these exercises coinciding as well. Both will be on the 29th of August. It also happens to be the date when the Indian warship and the Chinese warships will depart Sri Lanka. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.